One version wasn't watching me. It wasn't waiting. It wasn't part of the stillness the others obeyed. It was pressed against the far wall, pushing into it like the surface wasn't solid, like it knew something the others didn't. The metal rippled around its hands, bending inward as if the room was trying to hold its shape. It wasn't trying to leave the room. It was trying to leave itself. The others didn't intervene. They held their positions like the room had instructed them to observe, not react. The wall folded deeper around its hands, the surface thinning as if the version had found a point the spiral couldn't reinforce. Its shoulders twitched in small, precise movements, not struggling, aligning, like it was syncing with a structure behind the wall, something the room didn't want visible. The spiral room wasn't solid. It was thin, like the version knew where the walls were weakest, like it had mapped the structure from the inside out. The others stepped back, not because they feared the version, but because they recognized the pattern. This wasn't the first time it had tried. The spiral symbol dimmed, as if the room itself was resisting the breach. But the version pushed harder, as if it remembered a previous attempt the room had tried to erase. The wall flexed again, deeper this time, as if something behind it was pulling back. The reflections didn't move closer. They recalibrated their distance, like they were giving the version space to finish what it had started. It didn't want to leave the room. It wanted out of itself. Its face flickered between identities, like it was caught between two versions of the same existence. One tracked me with human precision. The other glitched, skipping frames, as if it was still deciding what shape it should take. It wasn't looking for freedom. It was looking for a replacement. The distortion around its face didn't fade. It deepened, pulling its features out of alignment, as if the room couldn't decide which version it was supposed to display. Its glitched eye locked onto me, not searching, verifying, like it was confirming compatibility, like it was checking whether my shape could hold what it was trying to abandon. It didn't go out. It wanted someone else to take its place. It stepped toward me with a kind of certainty the others never showed. Its fingers snapped back into shape, but the distortion lingered in the air like a ghosted frame. Their reflections widened their circle, not to protect me, but to isolate me. The version wasn't choosing escape. It was choosing me. The air around it warped in short, as if the room was recalibrating its boundaries around the version's decision. The reflections didn't move closer. They held their distance with unnatural precision, forming a perimeter. The spiral didn't command. The distortion trailing behind the version thickened, like its shape was still updating, still deciding what form it needed to replace mine. It was slipping out of the spiral's rules and into mine. Its hand flickered through the air, phasing between frames like it was testing the boundaries of reality. The spiral symbol pulsed weakly, as if losing authority over the version's shape. It wasn't bound to the room anymore. It was bound to me. The space around its arm warped in slow, silent distortions, as if the room couldn't decide whether the limb still belonged to it. The reflections stepped back in perfect unison, their shapes tightening like they were bracing for a correction that never came. The version's hand stabilized for a moment, not solid, just certain. as if it had finally located the point in me where it intended to enter. It wasn't trying to escape the room. It was trying to escape into me. Its hand sank into my chest like the boundary between us was optional. The reflections flickered violently, their shapes breaking apart as the room tried to correct the anomaly. But the version wasn't obeying correction. It wanted a body the spiral couldn't control. The pressure around its arm tightened, not from resistance, but from the room attempting to redefine where I ended and where the version began. My own reflection warped in the metal surface, its outline bending toward the version's shape as if the room was preparing a replacement template. The version's fingers pulsed once inside my chest, a silent confirmation that it had found an entry point the spiral couldn't seal. It didn't want my body. It wanted my place. Its hand dissolved deeper into me, not piercing, but merging. Their reflections screamed without sound, their mouths stretched wide as the spiral symbol flickered in panic. The version wasn't taking something from me. It was rewriting what I was allowed to be. The pressure inside my chest shifted, a slow, deliberate pull, as if the version was rearranging the boundaries between us. My reflection in the metal surface fractured into overlapping outlines, each one slightly out of sync, each one closer to its shape than mine. The room tried to stabilize the anomaly, but the version ignored the correction, continuing its merge, as if it had already decided which of us would remain. It wasn't merging anymore. It was replaced. My reflection in the metal surface bent inward, its outline thinning as the version's shape overlaid mine. The spiral symbol dimmed to a faint pulse, as if the room had stopped trying to correct the breach. The version's presence inside my chest spread outward, mapping itself through me with slow, deliberate precision. The reflections around us shifted their stance, aligning in a formation I hadn't seen before. Not defend, like they were recording the transition. The pressure in my chest tightened once, a silent confirmation that the version had begun rewriting the parts of me the room no longer recognized. It wasn't replacing me all at once. It was doing it in increments. Small shifts. Precise corrections. My reflection in the metal surface no longer matched my movements. It moved a fraction earlier, as if the version inside me was beginning to dictate the timing. The spiral symbol flickered in short, uneven pulses, like the room was losing its ability to track which one of us was the original. The metal behind my reflection thinned, its surface bending inward as if preparing to accept a new template. My outline jittered, splitting into two overlapping frames. One mine, one not. The reflections around us adjusted their stance again, their heads tilting in perfect unison, as if they were waiting to see which version would finish forming. It wasn't finished. It stabilized it. My reflection no longer hesitated. It moved with the version's timing, not mine. The spiral symbol flickered in short, irregular pulses, as if the room was attempting to catalog a shape it no longer recognized. The version's presence inside me expanded in slow, deliberate increments, mapping itself through my structure with mechanical precision. The metal surface behind my reflection thinned again, its outline bending toward the version's proportions. My own frame jittered, splitting into overlapping silhouettes that refused to sync. The reflections around us adjusted their spacing, forming a wider perimeter, as if the room required more distance to process the transition taking place. It wasn't completing the overwrite. It was confirming it. My reflection no longer resembled a split frame. It had settled into a single outline, one that didn't match the shape I remembered. The spiral symbol dimmed to a low, steady pulse, as if the room had accepted the new configuration. The version inside me stabilized, its presence no longer shifting, no longer testing boundaries. The metal surface behind my reflection bent inward, forming a shallow impression that matched the updated shape. The reflections around us adjusted their posture again, their heads tilting in synchronized increments, as if they were cataloging the final state. The room didn't resist. It simply recorded the outcome, as if the transition was already embedded in its architecture. It wasn't verifying the outcome. It was finalizing it. My reflection no longer shifted between frames. It held a single, stable outline, one that aligned with the version's proportions. The spiral symbol dimmed to a near-static glow, its pulses reduced to minimal activity, as if the room had completed its role in the transition. The version's presence inside me no longer expanded. It is simply occupied. The metal surface behind my reflection deepened its impression, forming a contour that matched the updated structure. The reflections around us adjusted their spacing once more, their movements synchronized with mechanical precision, as if they were logging the final parameters. The room didn't intervene. It processed the state, accepting the configuration as the new baseline.